Hi guys, I hope everybody is doing well and staying safe. For this week's Art with Kate, I started by, well, I'll start by saying I had this idea of doing this kind of exercise in mindfulness where I'm, keeping a feelings journal. So I sit down with my journal in the morning and in the evening and just kind of jot down what I'm noticing about how I'm feeling. And I try to keep it at that. So I don't try to go too much into detail of anything else other than just how I've been feeling. And I'm not going to read you my journal entry, but I have my journal here. And what I kind of did is I went through and I made notes of just naming the feelings that were kind of coming up in my journaling. So I'll start with the one that I did in the morning this past week. So the feelings that came up for me in my morning journal entry were tired, stress, guilt. I jotted headache down, which I know headache isn't like an emotional feeling, but I kind of wanted to acknowledge how my body was feeling. And then I also have grateful and grounded. And then for one of my evening journaling, pretty similar themes, but I had frustration, tired, bored, sameness is something that I wrote down, just like a lot of the same things going on. Happiness, loneliness. I wrote foggy, which is just a descriptive word of feeling for me. Distant and pleasure. What I've decided to do, I'm going to create images for this morning journal entry and the evening journal entry. One of them I'm going to do using watercolor, and then the other one I'm going to do more of like a drawing with pen, and then I'll color it with colored pencil. Just because I feel like those materials are probably more accessible to people than watercolor. So I'll have an example of both. I'm going to use abstract image. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing this exercise and making a figurative or representative drawing. But for me, I want to try to do this using abstract imagery. I kind of want to use shape and color to illustrate the kind of feelings that have been coming up for me during this whole pandemic and quarantine. So yeah, I am gonna go abstract on this one just because feelings are abstract, you know. But if you at home are feeling like you're more comfortable drawing actual images, then you're more than welcome to try that. This is just basically an exercise of mindfulness. So just to stay in touch with how you're feeling, how you're doing. And also it's so interesting to keep a journal and physical representations of how we're feeling so we can kind of look back and see how those feelings are changing. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to start with the morning image. And for this one, I am going to use my paper and black pen and colored pencil. Okay, so I finished my first drawing, which I'm gonna color with colored pencils. But before I do that, I wanted to show you guys a good tool to use when working on an exercise like this, which is an emotion color wheel, which you can find searching online. Just type it into Google Image and it'll pop up. And there's a few different versions. I picked this one because I thought it had the most options that I liked and range. I saw some that didn't have black, and I kind of liked having the idea of being able to have a black or like browns too. Also, you don't have to use this. I'm going to use it for inspiration, but if you are thinking about certain feelings that you've had or written about in your journal, and you immediately have a color that comes to mind with that feeling, I think you should use that color. But if you're having a hard time or just like need a little bit of inspiration, this is a great tool. In the very center, it has bad, fearful, angry, disgusted, sad, happy, surprised, and then those all kind of like web off into different feelings within those categories. So that's it. I just wanted to share the emotion color wheel with you guys before I get started on coloring my image number 1. So I finished coloring my feelings drawing. I tried to use like these drippy shapes to represent tiredness. These down here as well. With themes of anxiety as well as happiness, joy, gratitude, groundedness, pain, stress, all of that in there. I like to use different shapes for different feelings, so like hard edge shapes for more difficult feelings versus soft edge shapes for softer feelings. But ultimately, it's totally up to you. It's pretty much just an exercise to get a little bit more in touch with identifying your emotions, which is hard for everyone. And then trying to visualize them. Doing exercises like this, I find, are helpful for releasing those feelings. I know I said I was going to do a watercolor version of a different journal entry, but this kind of took a little bit more time than I was expecting. So that I will do for you in the next episode.